today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Michael Lohan has had a tough time since he came to Tampa Bay.
Michael and Kate have had a toxic relationship.
When Kate's drinking, she's a train wreck.
The Lohans lose custody.
My kids ask where Daddy is.
Why were those children taken from both of you?
The exclusive interview.
You're in her face, you're yelling, you're screaming.
There was no domestic violence.
Michael, that is domestic violence.
The 911 call.
911. He's trying to get his son's door. I'm having to be very
Okay.
You need to stop justifying that and just own it.
Michael Lohan.
I am going to tell you what you need to do to get these kids back. Let's do it.
Not a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Well, from glam shots to mug shots, cover girl to tabloid covers, it's usually Lindsay who is the Lohan making headlines, but not today. Today, it's Dad Michael and his estranged wife Kate grabbing some not-so-favorable attention.
Celebrity father Michael Lohan has had a tough time since he came to Tampa Bay.
Michael Lohan and Kate Major have had a toxic relationship. And at thedailymail.com, we've covered their story from the very beginning.
She keeps doing this. She needs help. She calls me, and I'm a sucker.
Lindsay Lohan's father was inside a Sarasota County courtroom as his ex-fiancée, Kate Major, sought a permanent injunction against him.
In 2011, Michael was arrested for domestic violence against Kate.
Major told police she's scared of Lohan and what he might do to her.
Then he violated a restraining order and tried to avoid arrest again by jumping out of a balcony.
Lohan jumped off that balcony and fell 34 feet to the ground, trying to avoid going back to jail.
Meanwhile, Kate checked herself into rehab, got arrested for DUI, and the drama continued.
He's trying to kill me. This is what he wants.
Relax.
Now, Michael and Kate have jeopardized their relationship with their 2 children. Just a few weeks ago, social workers saw a video of Michael and Kate in an explosive argument in front of their 2 boys, Landon and Logan. A judge awarded guardianship of their children to Michael's mother, Marilyn. Michael blames all their arguments on Kate's drinking. Kate blames Michael's violent temper. Bottom line, the lives of 2 children are at stake, and it's time Michael and Kate are held accountable.
Well, Michael says he is a fit father and his wife Kate is a raging alcoholic who should not be caring for their children. In an exclusive interview, I'm going to hear Michael's side of the story, and he is going to hear what his wife Kate has been saying to our producers behind the scenes. She has shared with us a cell phone video that she says was used as evidence in court. What I do know is that I have seen it and have a lot of questions for Michael. But first, here is what Michael has to say about all the drama that has led him to where we are today.
People know me as Lindsay Lohan's father. They see my family, the arrests, and all the problems.
You're charging count 1 with grand theft of personal property.
First and foremost, I'm a father. I have 2 boys with Kate. One is almost 10 months, and the other is almost 3 years old. And I want to do everything I can to protect them from mother Kate when she's drinking. When Kate's drinking, she's a train wreck. She lies, she'll manipulate, and she's a danger to the kids and me. Kate and I started dating in 2009, and she tried to stay sober, but she constantly relapsed. In 2011, Kate got in a drunk fight with a passenger on an airplane. In 2012, she was arrested for battery on a police officer, an EMT worker, and her neighbors, and sent to jail for it. In 2014, while on probation, Kate got drunk, and she tried to leave the driveway, and I stood in front of the car. She almost ran me over. Instead, she backed into a tree and drove around me and got arrested for DWI.
Hey, relax, take a deep breath.
During the 3 years that Kate and I have had our children, Kate's been around for a total of about 11 months. Kate has been either in jail or in rehab. Because of Kate's drinking, I've lost custody of my kids to my mother. I'm just so hurt by all this. My kids cry for me every day. They ask where Daddy is when they wake up at night. Kate has all these assault charges on her, and I'm the one being scrutinized. I was the one there for them. I raised them. It's not fair.
Well, we invited Kate to participate in the show as well, but at the very last minute, as the car was idling outside her house to take her to the airport, Michael's estranged wife canceled, emailing the producer that she was so sorry, but she was not coming. Is that typical behavior for her?
It's addict behavior for her. It's, Kate's she's got a lot of issues that she's dealing with. I think Kate's afraid to be exposed when she's confronted with situations. She deflects it and puts it on me. And she has a hard time just telling the truth and owning up to what she's done.
Tell us what happened. How the hell did this get this far off the rails? Why were you in a fight the day she recorded you?
Kate was having a lot of issues. I had to send her to rehab. She got out of rehab and immediately she was drinking again. I wanted her to go back and get better again, and she wouldn't. She insisted that she'll do it on her own. I sent her to I'm in the drug treatment business, I own facilities. I sent her to one of my doctors to do an outpatient detox. She was drinking on the detox, which is deadly. Well, she finally agreed to go into treatment. And I said, okay, get your stuff from the house, because she's not allowed to live with me and she's not allowed to be around the kids. And I said, I'm taking the kids to the water park. I'll be back at 4 o'clock. I gave her extra time. I came back at 6 o'clock. She was still there, drinking. An argument ensued. I was screaming at her. I said, how can you do this? What are you doing in the house? You were supposed to be out. You're supposed to be going to detox, and you're drinking again on detox meds. And she started recording me. Well, one thing led to another. She finally left the house, and a week transpired. And evidently, she had just gotten unsupervised visits by the court because they didn't know she went to detox. I didn't tell them. I thought she'd get better and everything would be all right.
You're clean and sober.
I've been clean and sober for 11 years come February 19th.
Okay, and I've kind of tracked you and I've done a lot of research here, and knowing what you know and knowing her history, why would you get in a relationship with her when she has no demonstrated history of prolonged sobriety?
You want to know why? Because I'm sick. I have a disease called codependency. And when I'm helping so many people that I don't know to get help, and I believe in them and I stand by them and I don't give up on them, it's so much harder.
You say that as though it's a virtue.
No, it's not. No, because look at what it's led to, Dr. Phil. I should have let go a long time ago, but I have 2 little children with this lady, and that's their mother, and the ultimate goal is for her to get better.
You said that you wanted to come here to get my help to get your kids back.
Yes, sir.
You said as a father, you really want to know, and I assume you're sincere or you wouldn't be here, and I am going to give you the playbook. I'm going to tell you, you want to know what you have to do to get these children back long-term unchallenged. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you what you have to do. She says you slapped her.
I didn't touch her.
What are you doing?
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Was this substitute teacher drunk at school?
So you drank and came up here to sub?
They said I was 3 times over the limit and put it in the paper. Total liars.
You're not drunk in this picture? You just walk around with your hair like that.
She swears she wasn't.
You were at the school. Was she drunk? No question at all.
No, I don't drink in the morning.
We took this picture at 11 o'clock this morning.
That's Monday. Then on Tuesday, he's a father.
Did you do drugs with your daughter?
It was just my way of bonding with her.
And a fella.
You took your kids shoplifting?
That's Tuesday. Now return to Dr. Phil's exclusive interview with Michael Lohan. During the commercial break, Michael watched Kate's video that was sent to Florida Department of Children and Families. Here is his reaction.
What are you doing?
It was all staged. That's why she had the camera on the kids and everything. She didn't record the beginning where she actually attacked me and I had a cut. She scratched my face. And that's why I said, hit me again. And I didn't call the police because it was so redundant. She was going to treatment and I felt, you know what, let her go to treatment. I want her out of the house. And my ultimate goal was for her to leave that house.
But Michael, I don't care whether it's staged or not staged. Mm-hmm. And hit you, not hit you. Your conduct in that video, comment on that. You comment on her staging it. You are being violent and aggressive in that video.
Dr. Phil, first of all, I'm not justifying the anger. I did not touch her. I didn't do a thing. And you'll see in my video that she admits I didn't touch her. As a matter of fact, she lied to the police. And what happened was, after this happened, she waited a week and a half till she was getting unsupervised visits because I didn't tell them she went to detox. And then she thought by releasing this tape, she would get custody of the kids and I would lose it. And that's exactly what happened, but she didn't get custody. It backfired on her.
She says you slapped her.
I didn't touch her. I was telling her to leave the house. She admits in the video you have that there was absolutely no violence whatsoever. The very next day she admitted that. And then she went back, and after she realized that she got in trouble, she actually wrote it into a police report. Dr. Phil, you have to understand, up till this point, I just found out that she cheated on me with another man in rehab that I sent her to. She had assaulted me 2 times before, which you have evidence of. That's nothing compared to what she's done.
Well, that's a scratch she put on you in your nose.
But there's been 6 other occasions where she assaulted police officers, an EMT worker, 3 of the neighbors. I have no violence on my record. If I had done something, if I had touched her, there would have been a police report.
Michael says he got a confession from Kate. Take a look.
Jen said to me, or it was Lee, said to me over the phone, well, you can hear like a slap or choking or
Yeah,
something.
because I'm like, ah, like, or I screamed or something.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to say.
But you can't assume that. They can't. How can they? They're saying that it sounded like a choke, it sounded like a slap when it never happened.
Yeah. Well, I know. That's what believe me, I was arguing and then they...
They're trying to create a scenario where I hit you just to take the kids away.
Right.
But but the thing, I know it's sick. But did you tell them I choked you when I slapped you?
No, I didn't say that.
Then how do they write that?
I don't know. I've never seen what you're talking about.
You're going to go in there and tell them the truth. You're going to tell them, I did not choke you, I did not slap you. You just wrote that down. You swear.
Yeah, I will. I'm not worried. All I care about are my kids and then being with one of us. I don't care about me and you and even what she said.
Me either. The very next day. The very next day.
Now, I want to be very clear about something. The videotape where you're saying, hit me, I'm going to blame you for this, you're in her face, you're yelling, you're screaming.
Because she's done it so many times before, Dr. Phil. See, what you're doing here now, with all due respect, is you're trying to make it look like I was the one that hit her. I didn't touch her. She hit me. She scratched me. She's done it in the past. She said I threatened her with a knife when she was sitting in a room drunk and there was a sheriff who's a friend of mine watching TV with me in the other room. The police came and they determined she was lying. Another time she said I choked her when she hit me and she was scratching her neck, and you have the police report. The police said, why are you scratching your neck? To make it look like he scratched you.
With all due respect, you're missing the point, and I'm trying to get you to get the point. Are you justifying your conduct and demeanor at that time because she's done this so many times before?
Absolutely not.
So what do you say about your demeanor and conduct at that time?
That when it comes to her or any situation, I have to control my anger. But as a Christian, you know, and anyone can identify with this, any father knows that when their kids are put in jeopardy, when their mother is constantly drunk, and Dr. Phil, this woman had a child in a hotel room drinking with one of her friends, and I had to find out about it, and I had to get them out of the room. Okay. This is a woman that tells my little boy that wine is medicine, and she drinks in the car with my son.
Okay. You just had a bad word in that sentence. I said, are you justifying it? You said, no, but.
Oh, but is always.
And then you spent the rest of the time justifying it.
There was no domestic violence. I lost my temper.
Michael, that whole tape is domestic violence. Domestic violence is not just physical. Hey, everybody, catch me Monday night in a crazy ex-girlfriend's kitchen. Sounds crazy, right? Well, I thought so too, but it sure was a lot of fun. Take a look. What are you looking for?
Oh, God, you're still here. Tell it to me straight. Am I schizophrenic?
I'm not really here. I'm just in your imagination. I mean, let's face it, you do have a very active imagination. One minute, you're walking down the street. The next minute, you're in a big musical. Although I got to say, I did love the pretzel. You did a good job on that one.
Yes. Oh, it's a shoelace tip. Ugh, it's gross.
Oh, my God, you're looking for prescription meds in a drawer?
So, listen, when I moved here, I thought I was okay, so I dumped all my meds, and now, I realize that I'm not okay. I mean, look at me, I'm falling apart here. This is really bad. So if I can just get my old prescription meds back, I'll be okay.
Here's a thought. Anxiety, depression. How about you see a doctor first?
I'll go do that, 10 steps ahead of you.
Dr. Phil's episode airs Monday night on the CW.
In 2014, DCF decided Kate couldn't be alone with the kids. It all happened because one night, the baby was crying, Kate was passed out in bed, and when I was trying to grab the baby's bottle, there was a box of wine in bed, too. I saw the wine and said, "Are you kidding me? You have wine in bed again with the baby?" And she jumped out of bed, and she called the police. She said I scratched her, I choked her, and she was scratching her neck to make it look like there were marks. She was so drunk, she was doing it in front of the cops, and the cops reported it.
Following months of 911 calls and contentious fights in front of their two young boys, Michael Lohan and his wife, Kate, lost custody of their sons just a week ago. Now, the boys were removed from their custody after the Florida Department of Children and Families obtained a video showing the couple having an explosive argument in front of their children. Now, what is your understanding about why they took the children from both of you?
Okay. The reason I was given is because they believed I didn't protect the children from Kate. That was my job, to make sure that I didn't allow Kate around the children. In this instance, she was around the children. She was at the house, and I showed up with the children while she was there, not knowing she was there. When she was there and she was drunk, of course, I lost my temper, which was totally wrong. I'm not justifying it at all. And then the argument ensued. I told her to leave. I told her to get out of the house, and she finally did. They also said that there was domestic violence in front of the kids. There was no domestic violence. You see it on the tape. She admitted that nothing ever happened. She told DCF, or told me she told DCF, nothing happened.
Michael, that whole tape is domestic violence. Domestic violence is not just physical.
No, I get that. I understand that. They're trying, but they're saying because of, they said I choked her and slapped her, which didn't happen. And if you hear, that's what I was really getting to on the tape. I'm not saying domestic violence is physical. It can be emotional. It can be just verbal. It doesn't matter.
But you're saying that tape doesn't show domestic violence?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the physical aspect, what they were focusing on. I totally understand that. I'm not justifying that. Not by any means. Well, I'm not justifying my anger. I've been going through so much of this for so many years. It gets to the point where sometimes you just snap. And I did. And that's wrong. Do I have an anger management issue? Yeah, when it comes to people lying, when it comes to people getting in my face. Did I beat you? No. I backhanded you. That night I came in, tell them.
Backhanding is okay?
No, hey, listen to me. You're the...
I'm just trying to help.
You don't let me explain. She hit me with an ice tray when I walked in the house. That's why I backhanded her. I can only take it so long. And then I scream. I blow my top. And is that right? No. I have to work on that. But at the same time, don't mess with my kids.
When investigators are working this file, which is happening right now, there are a set of red flags that they look for with parents. They look for excessive complaints about the process. If you've got excessive complaints about the process from the investigated parent, that is a red flag. Excessive contacts via phone or email with the caseworker or department. If that parent is calling 100 times, sending emails, bang, 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 that's a red flag. Threats against department or caseworker, either physical or legal, that is a red flag. Caseworker resignation from the case, overzealous criticism of the spouse, parent alienation, any of that, big red flag. Overzealous self-aggrandizement as a parent. I'm Mother Teresa of parents. He or she is the biggest jerk in the history of the world. Red flag, red flag, red flag. I mean, those are just big ones. Non-compliance with caseworker requests or court orders, where they just don't do it. Failure, unreliability in keeping appointments. Lack of insight and general defensiveness. Big red flag. Excessive emotionality, failure to keep a stable residence, drugs or alcohol, display of violent or aggressive behaviors at any time during the process. Those are huge red flags. That's before you get to the criteria that the state uses to measure, which is like stable home, stable income, taking care of all the needs of the child over your own, etc.
Dr. Phil, as far as I'm concerned, being a competent father or a good parent is making sure your kids are happy, they're safe, they have a stable environment, they're provided for, they go to school, they get medical attention, you take care of them, you're not abusive toward them. That's a stable parent. Do I provide that? Absolutely.
Are you being compliant with the DCF?
Everything they asked me to do, I do. They said I'm in full compliance.
You getting along with caseworkers and court?
Absolutely. Up until this point, everything was fine. Everything was great.
What do you mean up till this point?
Up until this one incident.
Is there a problem with him now?
I left my son in a parking lot the other day. I bought him a goldfish and an aquarium. Actually, it was an alpha fish. And he stood there looking at me, crying, saying, "Daddy, can I come with you?" And I just broke down crying. I slammed my hand on the car and I said, "This is ridiculous. This is disgusting." And I said, "You people better watch out for what you're doing." And they reported that. And that's what Dr. Phil is saying.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Listen, Dr. Phil, I'm a father. These are my children. When you see your child kicking and screaming, crying his eyes out, when all I provide is happiness for these kids. Every teacher in that school...
What do you mean you people better watch out for what you're doing? You don't threaten DCFS.
I didn't mean it in that capacity. Dr. Phil, people, I'm the kind of person, when I get to a point, I say things I don't mean either. I'm a human being.
Stop doing that.
You mean to tell me that other people, you don't say things you don't mean at times?
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about getting your children back.
Everybody, and so
I'm talking about getting your children. Well, get out of your own way.
911, what's your address of emergency?
Please help me. I'm in here. My husband's trying to bang down my door. Please help me.
Your husband's trying to bang down the door? What's going on?
He's trying to bang down the door. I'm hiding behind
Okay.
If you listen to the 911 tape, does it sound like I was trying to break down the door? Or I was just knocking on the door saying, "Kate, are you okay? Kate, are you there?" Because that's what I did. But she tried to make it sound like I was trying to break in the door. And that whole performance, "Hello, my husband's at the door trying to break in." Everything she said on the tape was a lie. Again.
I am terrified of this man. He's dangerous. He has been diagnosed as a sociopath. He has tortured me, tortured Dina, tortured his other ex-fiance. It was like the devil came out of him. I didn't know that he was on steroids. I did not know that he was using cocaine and alcohol and jumping from balconies.
You're saying that he's not sober?
I've known him for 7 years. And I've been with him before he's gone on your show, Hi. Michael cannot drink without using cocaine.
Well, Lindsay Lohan's father is in the news again. Michael has lost custody of his 2 little boys he has with his estranged wife, Kate Major. Just this month, the Florida Department of Children and Family placed the couple's children, Landon, 2, and Logan, 10 months old, with Michael's mother, Marilyn, after the agency witnessed a video showing Michael and Kate fighting in front of the boys. Michael is now in the fight of his life trying to get his children back because Kate has so many allegations against him. Now, I have said from the beginning of this show that I am going to tell you what you need to do to get these kids back. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me that I'm building a case against you?
It looks like, from my perspective, seeing all the things about me getting arrested and Kate saying this and saying that, everything she's saying isn't true, though, Dr. Phil. For example, she just said, they just talked about drugs and I drank and then used cocaine. What does that have to do with this when I didn't do that? What is it? I mean, she put makeup on her eye, and she was going to the police to tell them that I hit her. Or another time, she crumbled up a beer can and put Splenda on a table and took a picture to sell it to TMZ to make it look like I was doing drugs. I was told that that's all going to be on the show. I was told you were going to show that, and these people were going to talk. Now, all of a sudden, it's about Michael.
Well, actually, I object to what you just said. That is absolute and utter I have been here from the top of this show trying to help you understand what you need to do to get your kids back. And what you do is try and intimidate and bull your way through and determine what's going to be talked about and what is not.
No, that's
I
not
know
true.
what you need to clear up and get across. Did I not just say that I understand myself that you, in fact, are clean and sober?
Those are two well-taken points. Did you mention that Kate has 7 assault and battery charges against her?
We're not done.
Well, let's see what we say then.
But I've got a list here of your criminal background that I've chosen not to go through. But if you want to see me do you instead of help you, I can damn sure do that.
Dr. Phillips,
I'm here to help you, my friend.
Yes, and that's why I came on the show. But you have to understand something. When people make allegations, it's one thing. When it's proven and you're convicted and arrested for it, that's another.
Well, I'm giving you a chance to clear this stuff up. Do you want to leave it hanging out there, or do you want an opportunity to throw the flag on it?
You know what I want to do, Dr. Phil? I want to find out what I have to do to get my children back.
Michael, you need to stop justifying that and just own it.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil, a substitute teacher arrested.
You were intoxicated.
They said I was 3 times over the limit. Total liars.
You were drunk at school that morning. Isn't that right?
That's Monday.
Every time Kate drinks, she becomes a liar. She put eye makeup on to make it look like I hit her. She crushed up a beer can and put the Splenda on the table next to me and took a picture to make it look like I was drinking and doing cocaine. After I found out that Kate slept with someone in rehab, she turned around and tried to say that I slept with nannies. Kate accused me of domestic violence and cheating on her, when it's the exact opposite. Everything she does, she blames on someone else. It's deflection. I want to find out what I have to do to get my children back. That's why I came on the show.
Well, in order for me to do that, you've got to have some insight, and you've got to not be arrogant. You've got to not be demanding. You've got to have some insight, which means you got to have the ability to step out of yourself and look back. We spent 6 minutes of me trying to get you to understand that what you were doing in front of your children was failure to protect. Finally, I took a break, and did I not lean over and say to you, Michael, you need to stop justifying that and just own it?
I do own it.
I didn't ask you if you did. I said, did we talk about it for 6 minutes with me keep saying, no, wait a minute, no, wait a minute, no, wait a minute. Then at the break, did I not say, Michael, you need to own that and stop justifying it?
Absolutely.
Was that not me telling you because I wanted to have a clean record publicly of you saying, I lost my temper, that's bad, I shouldn't do that, I get that?
Totally.
Did I not then just say, when you came back, your alternative was to leave, call a mediator, get somebody in there, so you didn't have the confrontation?
Sure.
I gave you an alternative because I believe that you sincerely love your children.
I love my children.
I believe you would take a bullet for your children.
I would take a bullet.
I think you would die for them. What I'm curious about is, will you live for them?
I sure hope so.
You need to recognize you have a choice to make. You can either continue to be embroiled with and enmeshed with this toxic individual, or you can put your children at the top of the priority list, and if you have to, you co-parent with her through a mediator. You put your children first. DCFS needs to understand that you have an undivided loyalty to your children.
Exactly.
And you need to stop biting the hand of the people that are trying to help you. DCFS is not the enemy.
No, I know.
They are not the enemy. They are your children's protectors. And right now, after seeing that temper outburst, they are concerned and need to confirm that that is a situation-specific circumstance,
exactly.
That if you stay away from that woman, that outburst will not repeat itself. If they can determine that that is situation-specific and the trigger is her,
yes.
and they can put an order in place where she cannot be in your presence, then they can in good conscience say these children can go back to their biological father, which is good public policy.
Everything you just said is music to my ears, because it's exactly what I'm going through. It's something that I really need to look at. I need to separate things. You're right. It's got to be all about the kids, not about trying to save her and help her. Because when she is when she's in the picture and she's drunk, not when she's sober, when she's drunk, it gets really bad. And you're right.
And there's nobody working harder for you right now than me. Why I have to chase you to do it, I don't know. But we're going to take a break because I need one. And coming up, Michael's mother, who is a wonderful lady that currently has guardianship of his 2 children, is going to join us on Polycom right after the break.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Kate has a habit of drinking wine in a box. I mean, I always found boxes all over with little white tops in the car, and I always questioned her on it.
We just found alcohol in Kate's bag. We've found bottles throughout the house, Kate's closet, in the corners of the closet. We found bottles behind Logan's car seat. We've also found bottles in the kitchen cabinets behind all of the food.
When I asked her, Kate, can you stop drinking for the rest of your life? She's like, I'll always want to have a glass of wine here and there, and that's not the answer.
That was Michael's nanny, Samantha, who say they are finding plenty of Kate's empty alcohol bottles hidden and scattered throughout the house. Now, Michael and Kate's boys, ages 2 and 10 months, were handed over to Michael's mother, Marilyn, after she was awarded temporary guardianship. She's joining us today on Polycom. So, Marilyn, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are those 2 little ones doing?
They're wonderful, wonderful.
Well,
they miss their daddy so much, so it's very hard.
They're very fortunate that you're able to go into their home because you're supervising them in the home, correct?
Yeah, this is the second time. I was down again in, I think it was April, because the same thing happened. They were going to put the foster care unless they had me come down and take care of them, because Michael kept letting Kate come back into the house. They said that I have to make sure she doesn't come into the house. So that's why he had court order saying that she could not be in the house. When we went to court this time, I don't understand, because she was told she was not allowed in the house. If Michael let her in the house, he wouldn't have his kids. So he tried to prevent her from coming in the house. I know maybe the wrong way, maybe he got too excited, but she shouldn't have been in the house because that was his court order to keep her out. So here we are.
Well, he actually let her come in the house, but he thought she would be gone by the time he got there. So, A, he shouldn't have let her in to begin with. B, she should have been gone 2 hours before he came back. It's a toxic situation that needs to end, and the kids need to come first. Now, you have witnessed Kate drunk more times than you can count, correct?
Absolutely. One time I was up in New York, and Michael was up there also, and we got a call from his babysitter saying that Landon was in the car, and the car was locked, and Kate was passed out in the car. So Michael called babysitter and told her where the keys were or something to open the door and get Landon out. I know she loves her kids, but she's not fit to take care of them. She has to get help.
Well, I think we've certainly established that she has a problem, and I hope she gets treatment for it. And I know you're 74 years old and would like to be relaxing, but those kids are blessed to have you in their life. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for being here today. We appreciate it. When we come back, how can Michael get his children back? My thoughts, and I'm going to put verbs in the sentences. We'll be right back. Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
Today, we've been trying to make sense of this bitter custody battle between Michael Lohan and his estranged wife, Kate. In your understanding, why were those children taken from your custody?
The environment.
And the environment had one problem with it, and what was it?
Kate being in the environment unsober, but also an unstable relationship. The kids not having that stable relationship in their life.
When you look at the custodial parent, they look whether or not that person can run the business of the family. And they cited this for your failure to protect them from toxic elements of the world. They would have done the same thing if you had a bunch of drug addicts in the house, if you had a bunch of pedophiles in the house, if you had a bunch of bugs and the house wasn't cleaned. That's what they look at. Are you protecting the children? Not do you love the children, not do you want the best for the children, but based on results, are you protecting the children? And when you allow a toxic element in your children's life, they're saying you're not protecting the children. And they have certain custody factors that they go right down the line on, and this is in the state of Florida. They look at moral fitness of the parent, mental and physical health of the parent, ability to participate in the child's school and activities, ability of each parent to maintain an environment free of substance abuse, ability of each parent to act on the needs of the child as opposed to their own. This is a big issue here.
Yes.
Need of the child to be protected versus your need to have some kind of dysfunctional relationship with a woman that is currently suffering from a disease. And you know this addiction is a difficult disease. It's resistant to treatment, it's subject to relapse, and it trends towards fatal. And you've got a person with a disease that you're putting in contact. The ability of each parent to communicate and keep informed of the matters of the child. Michael, that red flags list that I showed you, as I told you, I wrote that list up 25 years before I started the Dr. Phil show.
Okay.
And you must think that I got it from you because you must be violating some of those things. And the good thing about behaviors is they have a beginning and an end.
Absolutely.
What you have to do is say to these people, look, I get why you're doing what you're doing, and what I'm going to do is whatever I need to do to demonstrate that I'm the best place for these children to be. And if that gets frustrating, then go yell at your lawyer. But you don't yell at them, because make no mistake, like it or not, they do have the power and the ability to wreak havoc on your life. And they're not evil people, but you've got to, you know, my dad told me one time something I've never forgotten. He said, boy, don't ever miss a good chance to shut the hell up. And you should write that on your hand when you're around those people.
I'm going to write in my hand in general.
If you want to slap the hood of that car, or you don't miss a good chance to shut the hell up. That's not the thing to do. You want to be compliant, and if you will do that, you will demonstrate to them who you are, and it will be very evident that those children are safe in your charge, provided you make one commitment, and that is you simply have to decide that's one broken wing you're not going to fix.
Exactly. You're right.
If she's around those children, it's going to be through supervised visits for years to come. The only problem is you being engaged with her, not the children. But the court will empower you to protect those children from her, but then you can't in-run them and engage her in a bootleg fashion. That's failing to protect the children. You don't do that and listen to the things that I've outlined for you here, those children will be back in your lap.
No, I appreciate everything you've said. I appreciate the honesty, and I just have to comply like you said, and just do what I can do best, and that's be a great father to them, like I have been.
And sever ties.
100%. Done. It's finished. It's finished.
All right. Michael, thank you. I want to thank my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here. Let me know if I can help with this further.
You want to do the whole hand? Yeah, just right before it.